Hello, my dear. Hit that like button and subscribe to uncover more astonishing tales each day. Welcome to Secrets and Lies, where every twist and turn reveals a new tale waiting to be uncovered. The warmth of that summer night enveloped me, each breath a challenge in the dense, muggy atmosphere. As I reclined in my bed, the world outside faded away. The fan's futile whispers barely broke the heavy silence that hung in the air. Mort, our steadfast German shepherd, was on high alert, his ears standing tall and his gaze locked onto the window. There was an unmistakable change in the air tonight, a sensation that crawled along my skin, sending a shiver down my spine even in the warmth. As I slipped into a fitful slumber, the final sound that reached my ears was the gentle, barely perceptible patter of footsteps approaching from outside, and then silence enveloped me. In the summer of 1970, the heat was more than just a backdrop. It took on a life of its own, bearing down on our small suburban home with an unyielding intensity. My name is Martha, and at 32 I discovered myself weaving through the familiar yet soothing patterns of life as a housewife. My husband Steve worked diligently at the local factory, his days stretching long and his returns home often delayed. This entrusted me with the care of our humble home and the loyal company of our dog Mort, a big-hearted German shepherd whose enthusiasm knew no limits. Today, after a particularly grueling walk through the sun-drenched park, I could sense the day's journey etched into every muscle. Mort, my ever-enthusiastic companion, had taken me on an exhilarating pursuit, after a squirrel leaving us both breathless and dusted with a fine layer of sweat. As the sun sank beneath the horizon, casting a tapestry of orange and purple across the sky, I made my way home, my clothes clinging to me like a second skin. Within the walls of the house, the air remained just as warm. The atmosphere was dense, nearly palpable, as if one could gather it with a mere spoon. In that moment, I yearned for solace, for the gentle caress of cloth soothing my fevered skin. Once I stepped out of the shower, I dove into my wardrobe, discovering just a handful of clean clothes waiting for me. I selected a dress that drapes effortlessly, the fabric caressing my skin, with each step providing a sense of ease amidst the sweltering warmth. As I settled down for the night, the gentle whir of the fan struggled to cut through the thick atmosphere surrounding me. Mort, as always, settled at the foot of the bed, his presence a reassuring fixture in our lives. His warm body was a contradiction in this heat, serving as both a source of comfort and a reminder of togetherness. I reclined the material of my dress, embracing me, the gentle whisper of the fan's breeze almost imperceptible. As I drifted away in thought, it wasn't the tasks awaiting me, or the predictable rhythm of the days ahead that captured my attention, but rather the pure essence of now. Life unfolded in a straightforward manner, marked by daily tasks and the rare community get-together where conversations revolved around the climate, the flora, or the freshest tidbits of news. Yet this evening, an unusual sensation lingered in the air. Maybe it was the sweltering warmth, or perhaps it was the moment Mort's ears twitched with alertness, his head rising from the bed. His eyes were locked onto a window where the curtains danced gently, as if stirred by an unseen wind. In the stillness, a faint car engine could be heard in the distance, its steady hum gradually increasing as it drew nearer. Cars often drifted by in the stillness of the night, but this one had a peculiar presence, its engine humming softly as it lingered just outside our door. My heart raced, a blend of intrigue and an unshakable feeling of unease slithering up my spine. I propped myself up, the fabric of the dress sliding down one shoulder, the gentle breeze from the fan brushing against my skin like a soft touch. Mort's tail gave a single thump before falling silent, his gaze fixed intently on the window. The night unfolded around me, vibrant with sounds that had previously gone unnoticed. The rhythmic chirping of crickets, the gentle rustle of leaves, and now the faintest whisper of footsteps just beyond my reach. What unexpected twists might unfold on a seemingly typical evening? The question lingered in my thoughts, a soft murmur of uncertainty in the quietude. Yet with each approaching footstep, the mundane transformed into something extraordinary. As darkness envelops the world outside, the home settles into a hush, punctuated only by the steady inhalations of Mort and the soft, haunting whispers of the aged floorboards beneath him. I slip into a profound, dreamless slumber, the sort that envelops me like a gentle embrace of warmth. As dawn breaks, golden rays of sunlight filter through the curtains, casting enchanting patterns across the room. As I rise from slumber, an unexpected weight settles upon me, and I become aware of aches in parts of my body that had previously gone unnoticed. The room holds its breath, an eerie silence enveloping everything, and an unsettling sensation lingers in the atmosphere. Mort is missing from his regular place. Instead, he sprawls on the floor, gazing at me with an expression that hints at remorse in his eyes. I attempt to dispel the haze of sleep, yet an unsettling sensation lingers in the air. My dress, once loose and comfortable as I drifted off to sleep, now wraps around me in a manner that feels intrusive. The fabric, once a soft caress against my skin, now feels like an intrusive presence, as if someone else had come and altered the very threads of my attire. I sit up, the room swirling around me, my thoughts racing to connect the scattered moments of the night. What echoes in my mind is the soft patter of footsteps beyond the door, accompanied by the distant drone of a car engine, weaving a scene that lingers in the shadows of my memory. Was it all just a figment of my imagination? The eerie feeling in my stomach suggests a different tale. I survey the space, searching for any hints of disruption. The window stands slightly open, with the curtains dancing gently in a breeze that seemed to have appeared from nowhere since last night. My heart races as I spot a tiny muddy footprint on the carpet by the window, a striking deviation from the otherwise immaculate room. Mort lets out a gentle whimper, his gaze locked onto mine as if he's attempting to share a silent message. I extend my hand, trembling with uncertainty, and he nuzzles it softly, his warmth providing a flicker of comfort, amidst the chilling awareness that something or someone had truly invaded our space. As I reflect on the previous night, my thoughts swirl, searching for fragments, for hints of what transpired. The sweltering heat, the fan's ineffective whir, Mort's keen awareness, and then silence enveloped the room. A chasm where tales once thrived. I rise to my feet, my legs trembling slightly, and make my way to the window. The garden outside appears unchanged, yet there's a sense that everything has shifted. The birds sing with a playful exuberance while the morning light shines with an intensity that feels almost overwhelming. I draw back the curtains, the fabric brushing against me like an unfamiliar caress, and gaze outside. The street lies still, devoid of the familiar morning clamor, as though the universe is holding a secret just beyond my grasp. I must explore the rest of the house to uncover if there are any other mysteries lurking about. With each step I take down the hallway, my heart races lodged tightly in my throat, the silence amplifying the sound of my footsteps. The bathroom door stands slightly open, and I nudge it aside, half anticipating a scene of disorder. Everything is meticulously arranged, almost too perfect, as if a careful hand had ensured that no evidence remained. In the quiet of the bedroom, I find myself perched on the edge of the bed, feeling the mattress yield slightly beneath me. I gaze at Mort, his eyes now brimming with a blend of worry and an elusive emotion, something I struggle to identify. "Can you share what unfolded last night, Mort?" I murmur softly, as if sharing a secret with the air around me, rather than with him. His ears twitch at the sound of my voice, yet he remains still, simply observing me with that same eerie stare. I need to call Steve to share that something's wrong, but my hand hesitates over the phone. How can I express myself, that I awoke with a sense of intrusion, as if our cherished haven had been breached? The idea sends a shiver through me, the truth of it too vivid, too intense. Instead, I choose to seek out additional hints to unravel the events that unfolded in the shadows. In the kitchen, the morning light spills in, illuminating a coffee mug that sits abandoned, its remnants still glistening, hinting at the presence of someone who had just departed. A creeping sensation takes hold, a tightness coiling within me. I return to the bedroom, my thoughts weaving through the night's disjointed recollections. The echo of footsteps, the distant hum of a car, and the heavy silence that ensued. Was I perhaps too weary, too settled in my habits to see the clues around me? I recline on the bed, the fabric of my dress clinging to me, as if it were a part of someone else's tale. I seek clarity and urgency, yet I must first find my calm to gather my thoughts. I inhale deeply, the atmosphere heavy with the remnants of yesterday's warmth, now intertwined with an unfamiliar essence. As I shut my eyes, I delve into the depths of my memory, seeking out fragments, whispers, and feelings that could guide me toward the elusive truth. Yet what envelops me is the heaviness of uncertainty, bearing down like the warmth of yesterday, a quiet, suffocating presence that amplifies my solitude. As I rise, the recollections begin to flow in disjointed and terrifying. Last night, as I drifted into a deep slumber, Mort inched closer, his warmth wrapping around me like a familiar embrace. Yet a shift occurred. His demeanor shifted to one of aggression, a side of him I had never witnessed before. As I slept, I felt a disturbance, an odd sensation of movement nearby, but I was too groggy to respond. The moment dawns on me with overwhelming clarity. Mort, our once trusted companion, acted in a way I'd never seen before. Aggressive, almost protective, but deeply unsettling. The surprise is staggering. Emotions swirl within me, weaving a tapestry of betrayal, confusion, and a deep-seated revulsion. What led to this unfolding? Mort has always been a figure of kindness, a guardian in every sense. As I observe him in this moment, there's a profound awareness in his demeanor. His tail still, and his gaze turned away as if he carries the weight of his actions. His typical lively spirit has dimmed, leaving behind a quiet presence, as though he understands he has ventured into territory that cannot be returned from. I need to share this with Steve, but what's the best way? How do you explain to your husband that your loyal dog's behavior felt deeply off, almost frightening? With a pounding heart and trembling hands, I extend my fingers toward the phone. The idea of voicing these words sends a wave of unease through me. As I reach for Steve's number, my finger lingers over each digit, the dial tone resonating in the stillness of the room. "Hey, Steve, it's me." I speak softly when he responds, my words almost lost in the air. "Once upon a time, an unsettling event unfolded under the cover of darkness last night." "What troubles you, Martha?" His voice carries a weight of worry, the typical weariness from his long shifts at the factory, momentarily set aside. "Allow me to introduce myself. I am Mort." I struggle to speak, the words scraping against my throat like rough sandpaper. He was a master of weaving tales, captivating everyone with his words. Each narrative unfolded like a vivid tapestry, drawing listeners into worlds filled with wonder and intrigue. His voice danced through the air, painting pictures that lingered long after the last word was spoken. While I was in a deep slumber, an unexpected event unfolded that changed everything. There are experiences that defy explanation. The stillness lingers on the line, a weighty hush that seems capable of bearing down on us both. "What are you trying to say?" Martha Steve's voice now carries a blend of uncertainty and rising concern. I inhale deeply, the atmosphere surrounding me sharp and fragile, as if it were crafted from shards of glass. "Once upon a time, there was a character who... He displayed a fierce intensity, Steve. He crossed a line with me. I awoke with a sense of wonder. It was as if someone had stepped into my world uninvited." The line falls quiet once more, and I can nearly sense the whirlwind of thoughts in Steve's head, grappling with the weight of my words. "How are you doing? Were you injured? I'm uncertain," I respond, my voice quivering. On the outside, everything seems all right, but deep down I sense... My heart aches with a deep sense of violation and betrayal. Steve declares with certainty, "I'm on my way home right now. Remain where you are and keep your hands to yourself. We must uncover the truth behind this." After hanging up, I remain seated, the phone still cradled in my hand, its weight pressing down like a heavy anchor. I gaze at Mort, who remains still in his place on the floor. His eyes remain cast downward, his posture narrating a tale of guilt and confusion. I feel compelled to connect with him, to offer solace, yet the mere idea of his touch now sends chills coursing through me. As the seconds pass, they unfold into an eternity, each moment laden with anticipation. The house, once brimming with laughter and love, now stands as a distant memory, echoing with an unsettling chill. I embrace myself, attempting to piece together the fragments of my broken sense of security. As Steve steps through the door, his expression reveals a deep-seated concern. He dashes toward me, wrapping his arms around me in a hug that is both soothing and intense. "Share all the details," he implores, his voice a blend of frustration and worry. I weave together the events of that night, capturing every nuance I can recall, from the whispers of the night air to Mort's peculiar actions. Steve absorbs the words, his expression deepening with gravity as the narrative unfolds. As I conclude, he glances at Mort, then returns his gaze to me, his eyes swirling with a tempest of feelings. "We must address this," he states at last, his tone resolute yet gentle. "Before we dive into the details, let's make sure you're okay and figure out what transpired." The following hours unfold like a hazy dream. Steve picks up the phone to reach out to a friend at the local vet, sharing the details of the situation in a quiet, conspiratorial manner. They have decided to visit and evaluate Mort to determine if there is a medical cause for his behavior or if another factor may have influenced him. As we linger, the house resonates with an eerie silence, heavy and still. In the living room, Steve and I find ourselves surrounded by a silence that speaks volumes, each moment heavy with unasked questions and hidden anxieties. What tales does this weave for our family? Will we ever view Mort through the same lens again? And the most haunting question of all, will our family ever return to what it once was after this? As the vet steps in, his demeanor is calm and skilled, carefully assessing Mort, with a meticulousness that strikes a balance between essential and intrusive. Mort in this moment appears to have accepted his fate, submitting to the examination with an air of quiet surrender, devoid of his typical playful defiance. After what seems like a long, drawn-out moment, the vet joins us, his demeanor serious. While he notes that there's no obvious medical reason for such behavior, it's important to remember that animals, much like humans, can respond in unexpected ways when faced with stress or fear. Perhaps the sounds you heard from outside stirred something within him. Steve nods, his jaw clenched, as if preparing to share a tale of his own. What comes next in our journey? The veterinarian exhales softly, glancing back and forth between us. It's time to reflect on whether you can welcome him back into your life once more. Should that be the case, there are possibilities to explore. However, keep in mind that this was a unique occurrence, and with the appropriate measures, a path to recovery could be within reach. The atmosphere thickens once more as the gravity of the choice looms over us all. Is forgiveness possible? Is it possible to let go of the past? The questions linger unspoken as we gaze at Mort, who rests silently, his head on his paws, as if he too is anticipating our decision. The hours stretch endlessly as I remain enveloped in disbelief. I steer clear of Mort, unable to meet his gaze, as a wave of disgust washes over me. Steve arrives home, his bright spirit shining through while I wrestle with the storm brewing within. I put on a facade of normalcy, yet my heart feels distant from the act. The evening meal unfolds in a serene atmosphere, the stillness around us thick with thoughts left unshared. After dinner, as Steve unwinds with a beer, I gather my courage. "Steve, there's an important matter we need to discuss." As I start, my voice quivers with emotion. His gaze meets mine, worry carving lines into his expression. I inhale deeply, the words leaving a sour note on my tongue as I push them forth. Last night, an intriguing event unfolded with Mort. He had a unique edge, a certain fierceness about him. While I was lost in slumber, he wove a tale of his own, leaving me with an unsettling feeling upon waking. I take a moment, the significance of the words lingering in the air around us. "Steve, something about his behavior shook me. It wasn't like Mort at all." I awoke with a sense that something had disrupted my peace. Steve's complexion pales, his drink left untouched on the table. "How are you doing? Were you injured?" His voice carries a blend of surprise and worry. With uncertainty hanging in the air, I respond, my voice a mere breath. "Physically, I believe I'm okay, but deep down I sense a profound violation, a deep betrayal." Steve rises, each motion measured and intentional. He approaches me, his gaze probing mine for any hint of the next step to take. "I deeply regret what happened, Martha." I'm at a loss for words. "What tales do you wish to weave?" I shake my head, emotions rising within me. "I'm not sure, Steve. Something has shifted and I find it impossible to see him through the same lens as before. There's a sense of unease that lingers within the walls of our own sanctuary." Steve envelops me in a warm embrace, his arms securely wrapped around me, as if to protect me from everything outside. "We'll navigate this journey side by side, We'll discover a path to restore your sense of safety. The night unfolds filled with an electric atmosphere that hangs heavy in the air. Steve proposes reaching out to the vet once more, maybe to gather additional insights or to explore possibilities for Mort. Yet I find myself uncertain. Mort's presence in our home has transformed into a haunting tale of unease. Steve gently proposes the idea of finding him a new home, observing my response closely. Perhaps there exists a place where he can find the support he requires. The thought of Mort departing from our home, our family carries a weight of betrayal all its own. Still, the idea of him remaining, of coexisting with this unending reminder, is simply too much to bear. I'm not quite sure, Steve. I simply require some time to reflect. As the night deepens, we find ourselves enveloped in silence, the only sound being the rhythmic ticking of the clock each second, echoing the weight of the decision that hangs in the air. Steve clasps my hand, his thumb gently moving in circles on my skin, a quiet assurance of his unwavering support. "I'll stand by whatever choice you make," he finally states, his voice unwavering, yet his eyes reveal the storm brewing within. "We'll navigate this journey, Martha, side by side." The burden of the choice looms over me, reminiscent of the stifling warmth from yesterday's sun. As I gaze at Steve, his expression a blend of determination and anguish, it becomes clear that no matter the path we take, our lives are destined to change forever. The bonds we share, the sense of security, the pure happiness that defines our family life, all of it has changed forever. Is it possible to return to the way things used to be? I inquire, my voice piercing through the thick stillness. Steve gazes at me, his eyes reflecting a deep sadness that resonates with my own feelings. Perhaps not returning, but advancing ahead. We'll discover a new reality, one where you feel at ease and protected. The atmosphere has shifted, a chill creeping in, even as the warmth of summer clings to the air. I give a slight nod, feeling the weight of silence around me. The choice goes beyond Mort. It encompasses all of us, our journey towards healing, and our quest to emerge from a nightmare that has disrupted our haven. As we gather in that moment, the horizon shrouded in mystery, I come to understand that the journey before us will be filled with trials. Yet with Steve alongside me, a spark of possibility ignites, offering us the opportunity to piece our lives back together despite the tremors we've faced. As darkness envelops the world, a determination stirs within, ready to embrace the unknown that lies ahead. As we journey through this unfamiliar and disconcerting landscape, we will strive to repair the fractures that have emerged, searching for solace in a space that has shifted away from what we once knew as home. Steve absorbs the words, his expression shifting from skepticism to sheer dread. He remains silent, as if time itself has paused. When he finally speaks, his voice carries a quiet intensity, measured and deliberate. "Do you really think so, Martha?" This surpasses all that I ever envisioned. I nod, my cheeks glistening with tears. Steve's response isn't one of anger directed at Mort. Rather, it is a deep sorrow for me, for us. He embraces me, and we weep side by side, the heaviness of our circumstances bearing down on us. The choice has been finalized. We had to make the hard decision. Mort's unpredictable behavior meant we could no longer safely keep him with us. Steve brings Mort to the vet the following day, sharing the tale of Mort's newfound aggression. The veterinarian, recognizing the circumstances, consents to help Mort find a new place to call home, a setting free from the presence of children or those in delicate situations. Could this be the conclusion of our family's journey as we once understood it? The morning after the house carries an air of desolation, the stillness echoing with unspoken tales. Steve and I find ourselves at the kitchen table, the coffee mugs before us sitting idle. The silence where Mort's cheerful morning greeting should be his tail wagging and those eager eyes sparkling is deeply felt. It seems as though a piece of me has slipped away. I murmur softly, my voice roughened by the tears that have lingered by my side since that fateful day. Steve extends his hand over the table, enveloping mine, his touch conveying an unspoken assurance of solidarity. "We'll navigate this together, Martha," he assures her, his tone steady and soothing. "There's more to it than just Mort. It's a journey of connection, a path towards restoration." As I gaze into his eyes, I can see the unwavering spirit within them, a familiar strength that has always wrapped me in a comforting embrace. I understand, but it can be challenging. Every corner of this house whispers tales of him, of the events that unfolded. Steve nods his gaze, wandering to the vacant space that once held Mort's bed. We'll reshape our experiences, crafting fresh tales to cherish. Perhaps we could consider the idea of relocating, embarking on a new adventure in a different place. Leaving our home, once a sanctuary but now a realm of nightmares, evokes a mix of trepidation and urgency. Perhaps I concur, the term carries the burden of our collective sorrow. The days that follow unfold like a tapestry of packing, weaving through memories as choices emerge about what to cherish and what to let go. Every item we pack carries a memory, a fragment of a time when Mort stood as our guardian, not as the one who turned against us. One evening, as we find ourselves surrounded by boxes, Steve finally broaches the subject we've both been sidestepping. We should explore the journey ahead, considering not only our physical path, but also the emotional landscape we will navigate together. As I inhale deeply, the atmosphere seems lighter, as though the choice to depart has eased the weight I carried. I'm feeling like I could use some time, Steve. It's a moment for recovery, a chance to find comfort once more. He nods, a glimmer of comprehension shining in his gaze. We're here for you, no rush at all. No rush. We'll discover a fresh setting, a new beginning. And perhaps when the time feels right, we can consider welcoming another companion into our lives, one that can aid us in mending the bonds of trust. The idea of welcoming another dog fills me with a delightful anticipation, not of dread, but of promise. Perhaps I suggest the term seems less like a treachery now. But for now, let's turn our attention to our journey together, to the process of mending and growing. Transitioning from one place to another can be a healing journey in its own right. Every box we seal signifies the conclusion of a narrative rich with both happiness and sorrow. We selected a home in a new neighborhood, one with a spacious yard, a setting where we can imagine fresh starts unfolding. As we embrace our new home, the bare rooms resonate not with absence, but with the promise of what could be. Steve and I settled in for our first night in the new house, the silence surrounding us transformed, brimming with the hope of tranquility, instead of the haunting whispers of past deceptions. "This will be our home," Martha Steve says, wrapping his arm around me as we gaze at the new yard, the moonlight softly illuminating the space, a sanctuary where we can mend and rediscover happiness. I nestle closer, absorbing the comforting heat of his being, the unwavering power of his encouragement. "Indeed we shall." I respond, the sound of my voice catching me off guard. In unity, we will navigate the path that leads us back to one another, to joy. The path that lies before us is shrouded in mystery, marked by instances of uncertainty and trepidation, yet brimming with opportunities for transformation and revival. As we linger in the cool night air, I come to understand that although our family may have changed, the love and connection between Steve and me is still as strong as ever. As we embark on this new journey, we will not merely endure, but rather embrace our roles as a united pair, resolutely seeking to restore our lives, rebuild our trust, and rediscover our sense of security. Perhaps as time unfolds, we will find the courage to embrace one another once more and also welcome the chance for new connections, recognizing that although we cannot change what has been, the path ahead is ours to create. United, we shall weave a path to restore what has been shattered, to uncover tranquility in a dwelling that once again embraces us like a haven. As time passed, the quietness of our new abode painted a vivid picture so different from the vibrant life we had left behind. The house, adorned with fresh paint and echoing with unfamiliar creaks, stood as a blank canvas, eager for us to weave our narratives over the remnants of our history. Life after Mort felt like a stillness had settled in, leaving a void that echoed with silence. The room felt expansive, the silence overwhelming, as if the very walls were lamenting the loss of our once lively friend. Steve and I, united by the experiences we had faced, found ourselves drawing nearer in ways we never expected. Letting Mort go was a choice we embraced together, showcasing our strength and togetherness during challenging times. Yet the emptiness he created lingered a vivid echo of the events that unfolded. We understood that we required guidance to journey through this new reality, so we began seeking support both separately and together. Therapy sessions transformed into our refuge, a space where we could share and explore the weight of our feelings. Dr. Ellis, our therapist, had a soothing approach that led us through our struggles with care. It's not merely about moving forward, she would express. It's about grasping and embracing the events that transpired, and then discovering a path to coexist with them. Her words wrapped around us, gently easing the sharpness of our sorrow. As time passed, the ache began to fade, yet the recollection of that night remained, weaving a shadow through our otherwise illuminating lives. It lingered in the background, a quiet companion in our discussions, our pauses, and our aspirations. One day, as we gathered in the living room, the golden sunlight pouring through the windows, Steve turned to me with a shy smile, hinting at something more beneath the surface. "Perhaps the moment has come," he murmured gently, "to consider infusing this house with a bit of vibrancy once more." I understood his meaning. The thought of welcoming another dog lingered in our hearts, a path to rediscovering a sense of normalcy. Yet the idea lingered, wrapped in a shroud of hesitation, as the trust we once shared so openly had become a precious secret now carefully protected. Perhaps I conceded, my tone laced with a blend of anticipation and trepidation. We wandered into the shelter, not with the aim of adopting right away, but to explore whether we could sense a readiness within ourselves. The dogs there, each carrying their own tales of heartache and yearning, pulled at our emotions. Yet it was a small, gentle breed, a blend of a terrier and something else, with eyes that appeared to grasp our uncertainty, drawing us in. Once upon a time, there was a dog named Bella. She came to us, her tail wagging gently, embodying a calmness that was a world apart from Mort's exuberant spirit. We shared moments with her, observing her connections with others, sensing her spirit. Her presence exuded a softness, a soothing patience that wrapped around our aching hearts like a comforting embrace. Steve knelt down, offering his hand for her to explore with her nose. "What are your thoughts, Martha?" he inquired, gazing up at me with eyes brimming with both aspiration and the lingering echoes of our history. I observed Bella, her petite figure gliding with a fluidity that hinted at tales of restoration. As I spoke, a gentle warmth began to unfurl within me, and I couldn't help but wonder if she might truly be the one. Bringing Bella into our lives was more than just a way to cope with the loss of Mort. It was a journey of rediscovering trust and embracing the chance to love once more, free from the shadows of past betrayals. She stood apart, her aura gentle, her desires harmonizing with our shared journey of careful healing. In the weeks that followed, Bella became our connection to a new narrative. She held a gentle patience, as though she recognized the delicate nature of our trust. Her petite stature made her presence feel less imposing, and her kind spirit allowed us to regain our trust in the bond with dogs. Yet the trust had transformed. We approached it with greater caution and heightened awareness. Bella was always kept out of our bedroom at night, a rule established without a word, a quiet understanding of our desire for security. We observed her intently, each moment weighed against the tapestry of our shared history. With the passage of time, the house gradually transformed, embracing a sense of warmth and belonging once more. The lively sounds of Bella's barks and the gentle rhythm of her paws dancing across the hardwood floors filled the quiet space with warmth and joy. Yet the event involving Mort lingered like a shadow in our narrative, a page we had turned, but never truly erased from memory. As therapy progressed, we uncovered deeper layers of our identities, shared experiences, and witnessed the remarkable strength that resides within us all. Dr. Ellis frequently shared insights about marks not only on the skin, but also deep within the spirit. "Scars reveal a narrative," she would say. "They serve not merely as reminders of suffering, but also as symbols of recovery." And so we embraced our mark, not only within our hearts, but also throughout our home. The dwelling once filled with shadows and fears gradually reclaimed its essence as our haven. We transformed the space, reimagined the layout, and infused it with our essence once more, all while acknowledging that some scars may remain forever. Is it possible to fully heal from a wound so deep? It was a question that hung in the atmosphere, reminiscent of the fragrance of blooming flowers that emerge after a grueling winter. Perhaps moving on isn't about forgetting, but about weaving the pain into the tapestry of our lives, letting it coexist with joy, with love, with the everyday moments that shape our existence. Bella, with her unique perspective, guided us toward the answer to that question. She was neither lost, nor could she take his place. Yet, she represented a fresh start, a testament to our ability to love anew, to trust once more, though with a different shade of caution. One evening, as we relaxed in our backyard, we watched Bella dart after a butterfly, and in that moment, Steve took my hand. What a journey it has been, wouldn't you agree? He spoke, his voice brimming with a blend of pride and relief. Absolutely, I said, holding his hand tightly, and we'll continue this journey side by side. The night wrapped itself around us, the stars starting to shimmer in the sky, and for the first time in ages, a sense of tranquility washed over me. It wasn't just the lack of suffering, but the emergence of optimism, of tenacity, of the subtle power that arises from the understanding that you've triumphed over challenges that once felt impossible. In this new home with Bella by our side, we became more than just survivors. We embraced a journey filled with experiences and memories waiting to unfold. We were crafting a new narrative, transforming our lives into something fresh, something that recognized our history, yet was not constrained by it. As we journeyed onward, we discovered a path not to the past, but toward a horizon where the marks of our experiences became symbols of our resilience, our bond, and our unwavering ability to mend and grow. If you found the tale captivating, be sure to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts. This will assist us in crafting more captivating narratives for you.